Hey everyone, I'm in a 2008 Acura TL base sedan. This car now has 147,562 miles. I've put about 13,000 miles on it since I've gotten it, in only a matter of about 5 months. It's been a pretty reliable car. I want to do this video just to show you what it's like owning a high mileage but relatively new vehicle. It's surprisingly solid. Not a lot of rattles or anything. You know, to work every day, it's mostly highway driving, so I don't really have to push it too much. So it doesn't seem to require oil changes very often, about every 7,000 or 8,000 miles. I always use full synthetic oil. And unfortunately, we're hitting traffic right now. I'm going to put this on auto. Alright, we're going to make a break for it. Alright, maybe auto's not the one I want right now. Let's do mode. The automatic function is pretty darn good as far as getting the right temperature inside the cabin. But as it reaches 147,000 miles, you know, the compressor, it's running out of refrigerant, so I need to get it recharged. But the Bluetooth hooks up just about every single time, even with this many miles. The car is starting to get a little bit of rust on it. That's pretty normal. This is, you know, the middle of the United States, and we do get some snow here occasionally, and this car is from the Midwest, so it's going to have a little bit of rust as it reaches almost 150,000 miles. But the ride is very comfortable. It's very compliant. It doesn't lean too much in corners. Probably the best part about this car is the steering feel. It has this weight and heaviness to it that you just don't get in a lot of new cars. It's very quick off center, which actually doesn't make it too great on the highway. It's a little bit touchy and twitchy. It doesn't seem to self-center that well. But the throttle's not very sensitive. The brakes aren't very sensitive, but that's more of a luxury car feature. This car is tuned toward the luxury side in the entry-level upscale sports sedan segment. It has, I'd say, like, it has some of the best blend of sportiness and luxury in a car that I've ever driven. In terms of the way the steering works, it's very smooth, but it has very good weight and a little bit of feedback, not too much feedback, but the weighting is definitely heavier than a lot of new cars with electric power steering because this still uses a hydraulic setup. Another luxury point about this car is the seats. I just took about a 1,000-mile or 800-mile road trip in a 2013 Ford Focus titanium hatchback. And even with leather seats, that car, just after about 3 hours of driving, my back is sore, my butt hurts. But in this car, I've been able to drive about 8 hours before I start to feel any pain or, you know, any fatigue whatsoever. So the seats are amazing. It has a little bit of road noise in the car, but that's pretty normal for an Acura or a Honda product. Everything seems to work. You know, there hasn't been any warning lights that have come up except for oil changes. The sound system is fantastic in this car. It has surround sound, 225 watts, CD player, 6-disc with MP3, WMA capability. It's got also an aux jack. Fit and finish is fantastic in this car. I'd say it's some of the best I've ever had in a car. It looks like this guy got a flat tire, unfortunately. But I'd say this car has fantastic fit and finish. All of the metals and everything that it looks aluminum is actually aluminum. I'm not sure about this wood trim. It looks a little plasticky down by the center console. But almost every part of this car is soft touch or has some type of texture to it that goes really well with the design. The compass still works. You know, this car, 150,000 miles, you'd think it has maybe 30 or 40,000 on it. Just doesn't seem to show its age very much at all. Even from the exterior, the paint's in great condition. 3M film all the way around, highly recommend that film. It's clear, you can't see it unless you're within 2 feet of the vehicle. Also, the headlights in this car are just fantastic as well. I think you can adjust the angle height by about 1.3 degrees, so you can maximize the visibility at night. They're extremely bright, they reach really far. Alright, I'm going to take off here. Shifter's pretty responsive, get up to about 80 miles an hour. Just getting on the on-ramp here. So you can merge with confidence. And overall, its stability on the highway is great. Even when you have to keep up with traffic. It just has this very settled feeling at high speed that the only cars I've driven that have this settled feeling are German cars. German sports sedans like Mercedes, BMW, my VW Passat 3.6. Even the Infiniti that my father owns doesn't have quite the solidity or the sure-footedness at high speed that this vehicle does. And you can set the cruise control over 100 miles per hour in this car, but I don't know by how much, but you know, that's a risk I'm not going to take today. So headlights are great. Automatic headlight function works great. It seems like it knows when dusk is coming and it turns on the lights at just the right time. It doesn't have that effect that a lot of cheaper cars have with automatic headlights where you're going through a tunnel and then when you come out of the tunnel and into another tunnel, the lights keep turning on and off. Now it takes about 5 seconds after you enter the tunnel for them to turn on, and then they don't turn off if you go into bright sunlight then back into a tunnel. So that's really good programming. I found out that this surround sound audio system is built by Panasonic. So it's fantabulous. It's awesome. Fit and finish is just great in this car. I have to just keep saying more about it because all the surfaces all the way down to the speaker grills on the door are soft touch. The only part of hard plastic is down here on the dash by the center console, but unless your knee's hitting it, you're never going to feel that area. So overall, I think this car is excellent. It could use, I think, one thing that I dislike about it is the lack of torque below 4,000 RPM. It seems like I have to rev it up to 4,000 every time I'm getting into traffic or anywhere that I have to hit the gas a little bit harder than normal just to get some adequate acceleration. But once you get into the high revs on this car, it goes like... I have a friend who has a Pontiac Grand Prix competitive sport package or something from 2004. It's a pretty rare car, and he has it in sunset orange. And this car will pull in that car from a drag from a race at any speed. However, this car really needs to have probably more gears for the transmission in order to maximize the power at the high RPMs, or just have more low-end torque. I think that might be a result of not having dual overhead cams, but I could be wrong. It doesn't have direct fuel injection, but that doesn't seem to make a difference on the gas mileage because I average about 28 to 29 miles per gallon on the highway going 75. And in town, I'd say I get about 22 to 23, even in a lot of stop-and-go traffic. So if gas mileage is great, it'll get to 60 in 6.5 seconds, but you gotta just rev its nuts off in order to get up to high speed. So overall, though, I think this is a very solid car. It has the most benefits with the least amount of downsides of almost any car I've driven. So it's the best all-rounder I think I've been able to have driven in many years. So I'd recommend this to anybody looking for a used car that's reliable, quiet, comfortable, has good gas mileage and a decent amount of power with great headlights, fantastic sound system, and a sporty flavor to it, but definitely it emphasizes the luxury part of the equation. So thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching this review of the 2008 Acura TL base sedan with a 3.2 liter single overhead cam V6. Thank you.